My name is Brian Davis. Total time in the military was 14 years, 3 months, and 2 days.
Okay. And you've used this acupressure technique, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and what do you think?
This worked for me. I didn't think it was going to. I went to prove that it would not work. And I'm hard-headed enough that I was going to point out that it didn't work, but I was proved wrong. Well, I went to a bunch of different engagements in the military on special operations from day one. I joined at 17, and I've been able to confront every one of my demons that I had, and from the first night, I have not woken up in a bad place. I've slept all night, and all night to me is 6 hours straight without waking up the first time. I haven't done that in probably 15 years. Well, I was in the Ranger Battalion here for a number of years. I was in the Special Forces at Fort Bragg. I was in a military intelligence unit in Louisiana. So I've worked as a sniper almost the entire time. So there was a lot of places I had to go that was by myself or with one other person. When you did get into some type of engagement, you pretty well didn't have anybody to rely on except yourself or your one buddy that was with you. And that was one of the big things. Now, of course, when it was a war that was going on, as with the Iraqi war, I'm a veteran of it also, then of course we were with large units, but there were still things that you had to do as an individual soldier that you could not confront then. In combat, you have to do things to survive, to complete the mission, and I've always thought of it, I've stuffed it in a little box, and I said I'll work on this later when I get home, when I'm safe. And of course, you would never pull that box back out. So it would just keep building and building and building, and it just leaked into your everyday life without you even knowing. And I was told that I would not have to relive them. I figured I've already seen the trauma once. Why do it a second time? There was no way. I didn't know how I would react. So of course, when they said you do not have to revisit this, I said this is too simple. There's no way this could work. So like I said, I went in there to see if it would work, and if it didn't, I was going to open my mouth. But it did. I haven't had to confront anything. And everything that I have worked on, every single little element that I had problems with, that I thought back to, that I had dreams about, I have not had to revisit anything. When I've worked on something in a session, that's it. There's closure in it. I can still remember the events. In fact, I can remember them even better now. There's almost like there's not a cloud over it anymore. I can see the events with more clarity, but I look at it without the shame, the guilt, the fear. It's as if it's playing in a movie, and I can stop it or start it at any time. The stigma that a lot of soldiers have, that I would have had, is that it's going to possibly make you look weak if you say that you have a problem. And it's not a problem as weakness. It's the way that we're trained. It's the way that you have to adapt to live through war. The thing is, when you get out of war, you need to be able to flip back to the person that's home. You need to be able to be the daddy, the father, the son, the daughter, whoever you are. That's what you need to get back to. And the problem is you couldn't do that. I couldn't. I was still the same person that I was when I first went into combat. And then subsequently, every time I went into combat from there on, it just got a little worse, but a little easier to be that other person. Before long, I didn't know any other way. And this has got me back in touch with who I was. I missed my kids' first day of school, but that little bit of sadness is going to well overcome by what I'm getting out of this class, out of this workshop. It's given me a lifetime that I'm going to be able to live now. So it's working for me.
It's amazing that it was only a week and a half ago that you did
Exactly.
this for the first time.
Yes, it is. And I've never been, since I got out, I have dodged every soldier, every veteran. I turned the TV off if there was anything on there. I just did not want to relive that part of my life. And I thought that I could just hide it behind a curtain and leave it there and continue on with my civilian life. I didn't know how much it leaked into my life. The first thing we do in the class is explain where they explain what PTSD, how it affects your normal life, how it affects your family. And then they do the healing process after that. And it has been so educational to me. The only thing I can say to people is that if you're skeptical at all, just come and just see. Just come Thursday night. And no one's going to shove you in the door and lock the doors. All you got to do is just come see. You may leave as a believer. We had a family day on Saturday where I got to bring my kids. I have not seen my kids. I live 2.5 hours from here, so I've been staying here locally and did not get to see my kids for an entire week. Well, I've had an 8-year-old girl, she just turned 9. I have a 6-year-old boy and a 2-year-old boy. They went through the class, and we went through in Mr. McRae's office. We had a session in there, and it was geared more toward the children. My daughter, my father was killed in 2003 in a fire, and my daughter at the time was almost 4 and witnessed it. I had no idea that it still affected her so much until we were talking about it, and then she just broke into tears. We've always dodged the fact that we would talk about him because, and that's been hard to do because he was a great man, but we've dodged that fact because we didn't want to bring that up to her. I didn't know how to work with it. Well, she talks about him. This happened just Saturday, and every time I've talked to her, I talked to her this morning, I talked to her before they go to bed on the telephone, and she has just talked about the good things that she can remember about him. And she has not done that since he was killed. And she couldn't believe it was something so simple. And this is a 9-year-old that got this out of it. And a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old are not going to just say something because they think people want to hear it.
No, they won't.
And so they both saw it. And I did not tell them what to say. I didn't tell them how to feel. I purposely didn't do that. I wanted to see what their reaction was because I was still trying to validate it in my mind. And I still don't know why it works, and it does not matter to me why it works. It just works. Came here for this, and have lived here for 2 weeks because of this course, and just knew for sure that I was going to be going back home the next day. So I didn't even unpack my clothes. I pulled out one set of clothes, and that was it. I've got clothes all over the place now because I knew after the second night I would be here the rest of the week, and then get to see my family, and then be here the next week. If it went on for another 2 weeks, I'd still be here.